What's up, guys? Jay Lee here. Just a quick little observation that I made about this video, Fresh and Fit. I'll watch Fresh and Fit every once in a while. People have given them crap, but Myron is pretty on point. He's always been on point. He never really changed with fame and money. He's always been holding women accountable. So I got to give my hats off to Myron Gaines. Um, Again, people have attacked him in the past, or, other red pill guys or other red pill content creators, but Myron stays the course and continues to be on topic with exposing female behavior and toxic femininity, etc. Which, on that point, I want to make about this particular video. This one was released 4 days ago, and I love the views. Almost 500,000 views in 4 days. That means the truth is being spread. That means guys are waking up. This is why guys are like, hey, I'm no longer going to fall into this trap anymore. I know female behavior. I know female nature now. I'm not falling into this trap. And that's what I like to see, because now women are being held accountable. The only thing that's going to hold women accountable is when men stop falling for their crap. When men get educated and learn how to navigate and learn what is a quality female and what isn't. And 99.9% of these women out here are not quality. If she's good looking, she's toxic, she's vapid. That's just how it goes, because we live in Western society. It's degenerate, it's going down. This is the climate, this is the environment that we live in. Guys are waking up, and it's because of videos like this. It's because of red pill content creators like this, who are not only entertaining, not only dull and boring, but they're also putting out wonderful content. So I want to make a point here. As I was watching this video, I realized that, what's funny about the Fresh and Fit show is that I don't think any of these women who come on this show, any of these women, and many of them flip out, and many of them do get kicked off the show, and they fight back, and they're argumentative because they can't keep their composure, because they're not adults, they're not mature, they're not grown up, they're not used to not getting their way, they're not used to being told that their shit stinks, they're not used to being told that, hey, you're wrong, this is your behavior. They're not used to being held accountable, so they flip out. But a lot of times what you'll see is you'll see women like these women on this particular show, or excuse me, this particular video. Yeah, this show, which again was released 4 days ago. It's called Frank Castle Meets Vegas Post Wall 304. I mean, and there's a point, in this video where she's talking about how much money she made as a cocktail waitress in Vegas, and I think she was saying upwards of $170,000 a year, which is insanity. And a cocktail waitress, she's probably turning tricks for high rollers down in Vegas, because guys who go to Vegas and have money to spend and money to blow in Vegas a lot of times are multimillionaires, if not billionaires. In this day and age, we're seeing that a lot more. So what do you think's happening with these cocktail waitresses, these really attractive women down there? I mean, they all do porn. They've all got their OnlyFans. This is just the modern behavior. This is just the run-of-the-mill modern degenerate female behavior. And, it's getting called out here on this show. Now, these particular women, I have to say, for the most part, on this show have, again, you can go to the show and check it out and see what I'm talking about, but they have composure for the most part, and they're pretty civil. A lot of times, I don't always watch Fresh and Fit, but a lot of times I'll watch like the compilations where like he kicks women out and stuff, and it's funny because these women are always acting up, and it's always because they do not like their feet being held to the fire. They do not like somebody saying, hey, your behavior is the problem, hey, you're wrong, right? So what I noticed was these women are actually having composure. So what I noticed was like, the reason why I mentioned the cocktail waitress thing is because these women understand value. And if you actually watch the video, I haven't watched the whole thing. It's 3 hours. Who's going to watch that? But I flipped through, and there's parts in here right around the 127 mark. I think is where I'm at. I think like 125. These women are talking about value, and they're talking about men who have high value, and they're realizing that there's actually an realization that these women have that yes, men are high value, and men who have high value have different standards, and so they're able to differentiate. So actually it shows me that women are getting educated too. Women are like, oh, I know what high value is now because these guys are talking about it. Oh, I understand that a man who carries himself a certain way is better than these men over here who are just fuck boys, or these men over here who are just, not doing anything with their lives, da 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 da. And I talked about that too. It's insight into female nature. It's all about value, right? So they're able to recognize that, they want a man of high value. What that means, and particularly, let's see if I can see here. I'll show you this particular woman. I'm going to right here in the middle. This woman here, she just played with her hair. I mean, these are very attractive women, right? This is the panel, right, of these particular women. These are all very attractive women. And I think the one in the middle there, right there, she it was a cocktail waitress in Vegas, right? So these women understand what value, what financial resources, etc. They understand. Now women have that ingrained, I believe, in their nature to seek that out. And there's a difference between a woman who has a high IQ, high IQ, right? But a high enough IQ to understand what a high value man is, than a woman who's just chasing. Oh, I'm trying to beg, and the guy with the most money, or the guy who will get me pregnant, and he's got high resources. I mean, that's ingrained into their nature, right? But there's also such a thing as an educated woman who's like, okay, well, now I really know what a high value man is, and even though they're doing the same thing that women are doing, siphoning through the guys who are low value to find the guys who are high value, it's a more lucid way of doing it. It's a more cognizant way of doing it, where they have a higher educated understanding of what it really is. And then it's because she was a cocktail waitress probably for 10, I think she said 10 years, something like that, making $170,000. So at least in the last 10 years, she's made maybe around $2 million, probably more, with doing tricks on the side, because they all do. I'm sure that all these women are doing side deals, right? So it dawned on me that, hey, these girls understand that they're on the show being held accountable. In their mind, they're probably like, well, I'm going to debate this. I'm going to rationalize this. I'm going to try to come on and say that I'm right. And they do. And they argue their points, blah, blah, blah. And of course, Myron blows them out of the water, because that's what Myron does. And that's what Myron is great at, which is awesome. And we need that. I think also Rollo Tomasi might be on this. Anyway, yeah, he is. So, and these guys are holding them accountable. They're holding their feet to the fire. And I realized that even these women who are like super high earners, more than 90% of men out there. I mean, what man out there earns $170,000 a year? Guys can't do that. Guys can't get on OnlyFans and sell themselves. At least not this, maybe 1% of guys, but the majority of men, the average man, cannot go out and do that. These women realize that these guys are high value. Myron, Rollo Tomasi, these guys are high earners. They're famous. They're big in the manosphere. They're millions and millions of followers, millions and millions of views on all their videos. I mean, that's creme de la creme of YouTube. At least it's not Hollywood. It's not stock market. It's not sports entertainment. It's just YouTube. It's educational. So these women are willingly going on to debate their points. And what I realized was, there's no way that these women would hold composure. There's no way that these women would be as classy as they are. There's no way these women would give the time of day to any other type of guy, any other guy on this planet, unless he had what Myron and Rollo and these guys have, is fame, money, followers, status, recognition. All these things are the reason why these women are sitting there holding as much composure as they do. And you got to realize, like, wow, even that in a kind of macro view, overview of female nature is mind-blowing, because it's like, if you really think about it, everything about women is all about value. Everything. There's nothing intrinsic. What is intrinsic about a woman? Or excuse me, is there anything in a woman's motivation that is intrinsic? Is there anything in the way a woman moves, operates, chooses, thinks, deals with herself, deals with the outside world? Is there anything within that is valuable on an intrinsic level, that has deeper meaning, that has some kind of wholesome value, that doesn't have to do with outward, shallow, vapid, materialistic, financial, selfish, greedy things? Everything about them encompasses the outward negative. I should say negative, because it's not necessarily negative, but the outward things, right? Money, cars, houses, vacations, right? Trips to the spa, plastic surgery, right? Massages, you know, I already said vacations, but multiple vacations, homes in different area codes. This is what is motivating the majority of women today, particularly Western women. And it comes from the West, and it starts with this greedy American kind of American dream ideal, and has really just been warped. And it kind of used to be where, like, you know, I just want the American dream. I want freedom. I want to have a voice. I want to be able to vote. I want to have a home, and I want to have a family. And like, that was kind of it. And I want to have freedom enough to, you know, financial freedom enough to where I can enjoy life, and I can, yes, I work hard, but I also take care of my family. Like, that was the American dream. Now it's, I want to be filthy rich. I want to have FU money. I want never to work. I want maids. I want a mansion. I want to be a multi-millionaire. I want fame. I want all the sex in the world with the hottest people, the hottest guys, because usually it's coming from these women. Because guys are just, the average guy's like, yeah, I just want to go work, and I want to have a family, and I want to take care of a family. That's how most guys are programmed or are operating. I think the reason why that is because most guys are realistic. Most guys are like, yeah, it's a 1 in a trillion chance that I'm going to be a movie star. It's a 1 in a trillion chance that I'm going to be a sports star. It's a 1 in a billion chance that I'm going to be a millionaire. Like, I'm just going to be realistic, and I just want a family. I just want a family. I want kids. I want to have a loving wife who takes care of the kids and helps me out. That's all I want in life. Most men, that's what it is. But when it comes to most women, it's the opposite. It's because they were raised in what I call the princess syndrome, where like they were just raised in this bubble where, like, hey, yeah, I'm a female. The world's at my feet. The world is mine. I own the world. All I gotta do is be sexual, and I get whatever I want. They learn that from a young age, right? Whatever age it is. I'm sure it's in their teens. They learn that, hey, guys want me, and guys will do things to get things from me. What's that? Briffault's Law. And then also the story with the monkeys, the female chimpanzees, when they realized they could sell sex to get food, and then all they did was sell and then that's all it was. It just became a prostitution thing. It's a weird thing, but you got to realize that, like, how many of them actually have intrinsic values? How many of them actually are like, hey, you know what? Righteousness. Hey, you know what? The difference between right and wrong. Hey, you know what? What's the difference here? How many of them are not corrupted? That's my question. Is like, it's always all about what you can do for them. It's always all about how they can profit more. It's always all about how they can get more money, or more selfish greediness, or this, that, and the third, for themselves. It's always for themselves. The way they choose men, the way they date, the way they talk about themselves, the way they think about themselves, the way they move, act, dress, behave, etc. It's all about the outward. There's nothing intrinsic. And then these same women, maybe not all of them, I think some of them are just like, yeah, whatever, I don't even care about love. Or a lot of these women, and usually it's the ones who are like not as hot, because the hotter ones, they really can just get everything they want, because unfortunately there's so many stupid men out there who just give them money or give them love and affection just because they're so beautiful, and they don't want those things. They're like, yeah, I can have everything I want, but I want the mansion, I want the vacation home in Greece, I want the island home in Hawaii. I want all these things that I want everything the world has to offer, and I'm going to use my sexuality. I'm going to use my pretty face. I'm going to use my body, my tits, my ass. I'm going to use all those things to get everything that I want, right? Because I don't need the love, because I can get that anytime I want. I don't need a high quality man. I can get that anytime I want. So I don't necessarily know if I agree that. I mean, I think there's going to be a time when all these women lose their looks. There's going to be a time when all of them hit the wall, 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old. It's not going to last forever. And by that time, they might look back and be like, dang, I could have had a family. I could have had loving kids. Or maybe they don't want kids. And then they could have been like, well, I could have had a loving husband, but I never really got that. I married for money, or I married this guy who I didn't really love, because he had all these toys that I wanted. He had the cars and the mansions. They can get that, but for them it's a different story, because for men it's like, hey, you know what? I'm out here struggling in this economy with the inflation and this horrible crap to just have a home to provide, a good secure job to provide. That's my struggle. A woman's like, I'm out here trying to use the guy with the most money. I'm out here trying to make the most money out of my sexuality. That's her thing, right? And it's a different hustle. It's not about love. It's not about family. It's about selfishness. It's about greediness. And you got to think like, man, was that always female nature? Is that just a Western women? Is that just a product of the way we're raised, or they're raised, a product of a lack of parenting, lack of love in the home? Or is it the MTV generation? Is it the porn culture? Is it the type of music they've been listening to? What is it that makes these women be so selfish? And you just gotta wonder, man, like, what is it, So I just noticed that, and it's just a crazy world, man. And where's the lack? Where is the parenting? There's a lack in values. Why is there a lack in values? Where's the wholesome values? What happened to placing love and truth and honor and self-respect and integrity, and righteousness? What happened to these things? I would say it went out the window when they took God out of the question. When they started to, oh yeah, we're all atheists, we're all just monkeys. I mean, they're teaching this in school. I had a girlfriend when I was in my early 20s who told me that she was taught in school that we all come from monkeys. And I was telling her how I believed in God and stuff, and she's like, yeah, well, they taught us in school that it's all about evolution. In school, they taught that. And I'm like, wow. And I think I remember vaguely, I was in 8th grade or something, and they mentioned it vaguely, but it wasn't like a long thing. It wasn't like, but I think, I come from a conservative area. Maybe that has something to do with it. My city was mostly conservative Republican. Then I moved, the girlfriend that I had was in Seattle area, which is mostly liberal Democrat, mostly atheists, right? Conservative Republicans are believers, And I'm sure her whole semester or her whole year was all about evolving from monkeys, and this is and like, so it's like, when you have that kind of background, that lack of righteousness, because God is righteous, and the teachings of morality in the Bible and things like that, when you lack all that and you're told you just come from monkeys and it's all about survival of the fittest and survival instincts, and it makes sense. It makes sense why they wouldn't have any morals. It makes sense why they wouldn't care about lying, cheating, stealing, or selling themselves sexually for money, or all these things that are materialistic and outward. It makes sense that they would act animalistic. If they're told they're animals, if they're told they come from monkeys, they don't have any higher calling. I mean, one of the things that held me in my entire life was the fact that I have morals, was the fact that I was raised Christian, was the fact that I was told the difference between right and wrong. And that was like kind of a compass. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I had all kinds of sins and all kinds of deviations and things like that, sometimes very large ones. But I always at least had that foundation and baseline of knowing the difference between right and wrong. if I was committing sins or I knew I was doing something wrong, I knew I was doing something wrong committing sins. There was never any question. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just doing this because I'm an animal and nothing matters and there's no God and who cares if I screw somebody over and I'm going to be narcissistic. I always knew that, like, hey, you know what? I'm wrong. Even though I'm doing this, I'm wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. And I would feel guilty and my conscience would be there, right? They don't have that. That isn't instilled in them. And I often question and wonder if it's even instilled in the Christian girls. Is it even instilled in the Christian girls? You know, I don't know, man. Female nature is just something else. Female nature is just something else. And you realize it's all about value. It's all about what you can bring to the table, what you can give for them. Them. This is solipsism. This is female gynocentrism. It's all about them. And I question, even in the case of a woman getting married to a guy, it's still a her marriage. Oh, I need my marriage, my children, my, me. Not we, not us, not our, but my, me, and mine, right? Mine. What's mine? What's mine? What's me? What about me? What about me? This selfishness. No wonder guys are walking away. No wonder guys don't want to have anything to do with them. No wonder guys are just pumping and dumping. And then they're crying on TikTok and like, oh, I thought I'd be married by now. I'm 35 and you guys don't know what it's like to be alone. And guys stand you up for dates. And it's like, yeah, we do. We do, because you were doing that to us when we were 20. When we were 25, we weren't cool enough for you. We weren't bad boy enough for you. We didn't make enough money for you. And you were ghosting us. And now you're getting ghosted because what you have to offer, your looks, is dwindling. And it's going down. And it's not going to be there forever. And the guys that you want don't want you, because guys are getting red pill. We know female nature. We know how you roll. We know what it's all about with you, and we're walking away. We don't want anything to do with you. We don't want to marry you. We don't want to settle down with you because you're horrible. You got a body count in the triple digits. Most of you are narcissists. You're liars. You're manipulators. You're vapid. We understand your nature. It's all about money. It's all about self-gain. It's all about solipsism. Why would we want to have anything to do with that? Oh, because you're pretty, you think that you could just get any guy. No, you can't, because guys who you really want, the guys who are more attractive, the guys who have more money, don't want nasty women, don't want used up women who are 35. They don't want even these young women anymore. They don't want. And why would they? Because they're all hoes. By the time they're 20, they got, body count in the dozens. I mean, you don't think they're having sex in high school? Come on, man. It's crazy out there. It's insane. But even by the time a girl's 20, I feel like she's used. Certainly not as much as by the time she hits 25. She's twice or 3 or 4 times or 5 times more used than when she's 20. But I mean, you got girls out here the day they turn 18 doing porn. It's just you got women out here planning to do, young women who just turned 18, planning to have a career on OnlyFans, planning to be a career cam girl, planning to be a career porn star. This is the type of society we live in, man. It's not like the 50s, 60s or the 40s, 50s, 60s. Oh, I'll just go out and get a job. I don't even need a college degree. Go out and get a job and buy a 2-garage home and have a nuclear family. It ain't like that anymore. And these women complaining, oh, I want love. Oh, I can't find. It's like, you had all your opportunities, man. But anyway, I'm going to end it there. It's just something that, wow, it's like, I just realized this is like the only reason girls even go on this show. Like, they would never talk to a regular guy about this. They would start cussing, or they just wouldn't waste their time. They'd just be like, yeah, whatever, you're a loser, you don't have any money, why would I even talk to you? But the reason why these girls go on this show, and the reason why they're as composed as they are, is because Myron's got high value. It's a famous show. And so they want to come on here and they want to like, oh, well, what about this? And they just get blown out of the water because their points are stupid. It's like, we know it. Guys know the game. Guys have been educated, and this is why they turn around and cry. Oh, no guy wants me anymore. It's because there's nothing quality about you. Who's raising you to be a good person? Who's raising you how to treat a man with respect? Who's raising you how to have morals? Who's raising you how to be a moral person? Oh, I'm not gonna go sleep around because that's immoral. I'm not gonna go give away my flower, give away the thing that I should be giving to my husband in love, in sanctity, right? In purity. I'm not going to give that away because that's for my family. That's for my husband. And I love my husband, and I respect my husband enough to where I'm not going to go give that away before I meet him. That kind of thought doesn't even come into these girls' heads in today's day and age. It's like, oh, he better accept me for what I am because I'm, if not, he's a loser and he's not worthy of me. You're not worthy of him if you go sleeping around. There's nothing that's worthy about a woman sleeping around. You lose your value. And so do men. It's the same thing. It's the same way. It's not a double standard because men shouldn't be sleeping around either, right? If it takes two to tango, if a woman's sleeping around, that means a man is sleeping around with her, and so men need to back up too and be like, hey, I can't be sleeping around because I would just be adding to the problem. That's somebody's wife. That's somebody's future wife. And somebody told me that a long time ago. They're like, when you sleep around with some girl, you're sleeping around with some dude's future wife. That's disrespectful, to someone's future family. And I'm like, wow, that kind of stuck with me. It's like, it's kind of true. It's like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna glorify making a woman a slut. I'm not gonna glorify, and yes, she's probably going to do it with or without you. And there's a line of other dudes out there who are going to go do it. But that doesn't mean you have to do it. That doesn't mean you have to be the one. You're both wrong, but you're not as wrong as her because she has the ultimate. She's the one who has the power of choice. Because most guys will sleep with the woman if the opportunity arises, but the woman is the one who has the burden of choice and has the power over saying yes or no, and she should save herself for marriage. But we're not teaching our women that. We're teaching them, oh, you go, girl. It's okay to be a skank. It's empowering, which is a total lie from the devil. It's a total lie from Satan. Right, and it's just ruining this entire generation. It's ruining marriages. It's the downfall of our generation. It's the downfall of our generation. We're becoming a degenerate generation that is just really a harbinger for the end times. It's going to bring in the end times. We're living in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. We're living in the time of Noah, where everybody's practicing unrighteousness. It seems. How many are righteous? Noah was somebody who was called out in a damaged generation. He was called out, and he knew what was coming. He knew the floods were coming, and it's the same today. God's going to come back, and He's going to judge this unrighteousness. Everything we complain about in the red pill, everything we know about female nature, it's unrighteousness that God is going to judge. It's all coming back around. Don't think that just because God is silent, that He doesn't see or that He's non-existing. Because He is there and He sees, and He's going to come back and judge it. And it's going to be soon because of the way that the trend and the tide of the age is going. But anyway, guys, I'm just going to leave it there. It's a sad thing. Appreciate you listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.